not all football players will probably enjoy football. You know, a lot of players will see it just as a job, much like me and you have a job. And I think we need to put the onus on players to say, is there anything else you enjoy doing that you could perhaps think about to do away from the game, so that you're not all consumed by it, you know, whether it be spending more time with family and ensuring that you've got good habits and that you're engaging with your family, you've got a good network around you, you've got a good social network around you in terms of friends, and also that you're thinking about, maybe I do want to do something a little bit different when I finish my football career. Maybe there's something that I enjoyed at school that I've had to, bypass for the last 10 or 15 years as I've played a career, but I'd love to pick that back up, a subject at school, whether it be languages, just something like that. I would love to think that clubs and the association within the country are continuing to fire that message home to players, because I think, as you and I both know, outside probably Celtic, Rangers, maybe Hearts, Hibs and Aberdeen, the players in this country aren't earning a whole lot of money that's going to top up a retirement fund that's going to last them for 40 or 50 years post playing their playing career.